Hello, 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 everybody. Hello, everybody. Hello. God bless everyone. God bless everyone. We are so excited to be here. I am still not have this camera. We are so excited. So, that's all right. We're going to go with it. Blessing.
I'm not quite sure.
So there we go. Okay. So we had to wait for everything to lock in for Facebook Live. So just bear with us. It's all good. We know how to handle technical difficulties. We know how to stall until it all takes place. So we're just, we are just logging in. Thank you guys for logging in with us. Thank you guys for jumping on with us. You could be anywhere else, but you chose to be with us, so it is an honor. We are very humbled that you would choose to rock with us on tonight. So, like I said, we're just giving way. Just a brief moment. We're going to give way to people who are logging on to give them time to be able to get settled in, kick their feet up. You know how we do it. You already know the procedure of what we do. So, like I said, we're going to just give this brief moment to have everybody log on, get comfortable, and we're going to go from there. Tonight is going to be awesome. It's going to be phenomenal. It's going to be good. I guarantee you'll get something from it. And my prayer is that you will apply what you get from it to your marriage, to your relationship, that God will just do what he needs to do in and through your marriage. So, like I said, just give us a brief moment, and we are going to get this popping. You know what I'm saying?
I think all of them are.
We're going to get this popping. I'm trying to log in.
Let me see.
On that.
Give me this.
Okay. So my wife is the techie. So, we're going to get it in. James, God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. It's an honor. James, God.
Okay, I think I got everything.
Okay. I think we're all good. We want to make sure we're all good everywhere, so we're able to see everybody's response or questions or whatever the case may have. You want to make sure everything is on point. So Yeah. So you already know what it is. Monday. You already know how we get down. Marriage on Blast. Hashtag reset. It's another Monday, man. We are so excited. This is the day that God has made. May we rejoice and be glad in it. Yes, we will. We choose to do so because God is so good. He's kept us. He's provided for us. You already know how it is, man. Deborah Taylor, God bless you, woman of faith.
Pastor, congrats on your ordination.
Pastor, God bless you, woman of faith. Another woman in the faith, man, who's doing big things. Like I said, go ahead and log in. Do us a favor while you're logging in. If you're already in, there's a button called share. You already know who it is. I'm pretty sure you're familiar with it. You use it all the time. Sometimes you don't even think about it, you're using it. You just use it. But yeah, press that share button, man. Share with everybody. Everybody across Rochester, everybody across the globe. We want to share this, man. We want to share with other married couples. Somebody you may be thinking about, man, and you're like, listen, they need to hear this. Press that share button, man. Share with them. Share with people who you think don't like you. Come on now. Share with them. You never know. You never know what could happen. So we know God is able, man. God is able to do exceeding abundantly all we can ask to think. God bless you, Rick. So yeah, so we're gonna like I said, we're gonna be very strategic tonight. We're gonna be very accurate and try to make sure that we let you guys we release you guys in a timely manner. Like I said, we want to make sure that all the nuggets and stuff are there. We hit all our pinpoints and stuff like that. So we are very conscientious of your time as well as ours.
Thank you.
Ricky, God bless you, sir. So yeah, so like I said, it's just another one, man. We're going to get it in, guys. It's going to be really good. Tonight's topic is going to be, and it is, a purpose-driven marriage, man. That's the title, a purpose-driven marriage. That's what we're going to talk about, man. We have been covering so much ever since we started, man. We have hit so many topics ever since we started. Last segment that we did, if you missed it, you can always go back and see the video. It's really good. It was just a Q&A, man. It's very easy to just sit up here and talk all the time and be able to pour out all the time, but it's a whole nother ball game when you can actually be able to just sit and be able to chop it up with your brothers and sisters in the faith. So we are so excited. It was so awesome. A lot of good questions. We also went back further and we pulled away a lot of the questions and stuff that people had along the way that we really couldn't get to. So we were able to address a lot of those, and it was really good. Some of them were very surprising, but we still answered them accordingly. So we are excited, guys. I promise you guys, it's going to be good tonight, man. Every Monday night is good, but tonight is going to be especially good because, like I said, I just know God has really been dealing with us about this, man. And God has really been challenging my wife and I to really just step up and to do something different, man, and do something different, get out of our comfort zone. Not only that, but God has really been speaking to us individually, but also holistically. And it's been crazy, yo. It's been crazy, man. So we are, listen, I'm going to stop procrastinating. Husbands, go ahead and get your wives. You already know what it is. Wives, come on here. Get your husbands, and single people, grab Jesus. You already know what it is, man. It's time, man. It's Marriage on Blast, hashtag reset. Monday night, y'all know how we get down. God bless the New Hope. God bless to Bishop Gerard and Apostle Tori. God bless them. God bless all the body of Christ across the world, man, that God's will be done in and through us. We do not take this for granted, guys. I promise y'all, we don't take this for granted. But we are going to start this segment off with prayer, man. We got to start it off with prayer. So we ask you guys to just go ahead and tap in with us, lean in with us as we open this thing up with prayer. All right. So gracious Father, we thank you for your loving kindness, your tender mercy, Father. It is a privilege to be able to call you Daddy because we know that you are that. We know that you are our provider. We know that you are a way maker. We thank you for the gift, the free gift. We didn't have to work for it. It was given to us. We thank you for the gift of the Holy Spirit. And we don't take it lightly. Holy Spirit, we ask you to rise in us. We ask you to take over. We ask you to do what only you can do. We ask you to bless this segment. We ask you to bless the segments to come. We ask you to bless marriages all across the world. We ask you, oh God, to just impart in us, oh God, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. But most of all, Lord, let us not be hearers only, but let us be doers of your word and of your will. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen and amen. God bless everybody who's jumping on hashtag Reset Marriage on Blast. You already know how it is. Like I said, tonight's segment, we're going to dive right in, guys. Tonight's segment and topic is a purpose-driven marriage. All right. So I'm going to set the tone, guys. I'm going to set the tone for everything. The tone is that, wives, I know you find yourselves within your marriage, or people within relationships. You find yourselves doing your daily duties within your marriage, and you're washing dishes, you're doing the laundry, you're going through the hustle and bustles of life. And it seems like we're caught up in this hustle and bustle of life, where a lot of things are forgotten, a lot of things are not really understood. But we just ride the wave of life. And so you find yourself doing dishes, doing laundry, taking care of the kids, paying the bills, talking to friends, and friends are constantly tugging at you. For husbands, you're going out there, you're grinding, you're working, you're doing what you have to do out there in the workforce. People are tugging at you in the workforce. It seems like you're barely getting by, it seems like. And we ride this wave of life, and we find ourselves kind of drowning in this sea thing of life. And I know you're sitting there, and I know you're standing there, and whatever you're doing in the midst of this whole wave of life, I know you're thinking about, like, what in the world am I doing? Was this a mistake? Was it a mistake that I got married? Was it a mistake that I'm in this segment that I'm in? We kind of get caught up in this mindset of, what now? Like, is this all to life? Is this all to marriage? Is there nothing else other than taking care of the kids, paying bills? My spouse really ain't doing what he or she's supposed to be doing. It's just crazy. It's craziness. And you find yourself in a spot, in a mindset where it's like, I don't know what's really going on, but I feel like there's no purpose. I feel like there's no purpose about my marriage. I feel like there's no purpose for life. I feel like there's no purpose for anything whatsoever. But I want you to keep this in mind. While you're in that state of mind, I want you to keep this in mind. Remember this. Every single day of your life, every single day that takes place within your life, you are changing. You are not the same person that you were a few hours ago. You are not the same person that you were last week. You're not the same person that you were last month or last year. You are constantly changing and evolving into one of the two things. Either you're changing for the better or you're changing for the worse. One of those two things are taking place. Either you're going uphill or either you're going downhill. All right? Now, there is a question that I need to ask you. All married couples, all couples in relationship, there is a simple question that I need to ask you. And this same question, I think you need to accept and receive, and you need to ask this to God. You need to ask, why did God put us together? Within your marriage, I need you to answer this. Why did God put me and my spouse together? Now, surprisingly, a lot of people can't answer that. They cannot answer the question of why God put them together. They can give you the history of something, like, for instance, oh, well, we were high school sweethearts, and, oh, well, he just swept me off my feet, and I was at the job, and he brought me a biscuit, and he know I loves biscuits. But they can give you the history of something, but they can't give you the answer to why God put them together. Now, not only that, people really can't explain why they're even here. What's their purpose in life, yet alone their purpose within marriage. They can never explain it. They don't have the answer for it. But we're going to help you guys. We're going to steer you guys in the right direction tonight, guys. All right? So let's check out the Bible, guys. Once again, we will not give you information without foundation. All right. So, but I want to set the tone for everything. Okay. But we need to also have an understanding that everything within the Bible is geared towards love and relationship. Those are the two main things that God orchestrates within the Bible. If you read it throughout the Bible, love and relationship. Love and relationship. Love and relationships. I have to repeat it because I wanted to soak in. I wanted to sink in, guys. All right? So, let's take a look at in the beginning. Let's take a look in the beginning. Let's go back. Let's go back to Genesis, all right? Genesis, okay? So, we see a relationship with man and God, but then we also see a relationship with man and man, okay? Man and woman, all right? So we see that relationship, all right? So that's very important. That's vital. I need to establish that, okay? So we notice that the relationship with Adam and Eve to God and the relationship with each other. Not only was this any typical relationship, it was a perfect relationship. It was a perfect relationship in all its splendor. I'm going somewhere with this. I promise you guys. All right. But let's take notice within this setting. Within the setting of the garden, within the setting of man and woman, the relationship between man and God and man and woman, there is a third party that takes place. There's a third party. What up, Willie? God bless you, sir. All right. There's a third party that's involved. Satan. Satan is involved, and Satan has a strategic purpose. He is very strategic. A lot of people don't understand that, and they don't know that. They don't believe it. But Satan is very strategic. He was strategic from day one. All right? So Satan is that third party within this setting of Adam and Eve and God, the relationship between God, man and God, and man and woman. All right? So notice, let's take notice at something within this setting of the Bible. All right? Notice that Satan never made Eve do anything. He never made her do anything. Satan knew where the line was drawn. He knew what he could do and what he couldn't do. So what Satan did and what his whole goal is and what he is known for is persuasion and influence. Persuasion and influence. We need to understand how our enemy works. So, Satan persuaded Eve to eat the fruit. As a matter of fact, not only did he persuade, he dialed it up, and he caused Eve to now sit back and think about or question all that she had in her possession. Not only that, but Satan persuaded Eve that God was the enemy. That God didn't want her to have everything, even though she had everything. So Satan persuaded and influenced Eve to think that everything that she had in her possession that was given by God wasn't enough. It wasn't not only enough, but more than enough. So this led to Eve, not only Eve, but immediately following after Adam, to indulge in something that was temporal and that was deadly. And it would change the course of history. So now Eve and Adam is chasing after something or indulging in something that would never satisfy, never gratify. And now they find themselves caught up in sin. All right? So, once again, I'll say this again. Satan is very strategic. Very strategic. He has purpose. when you got married to your spouse, you thought it was a mistake. For many of you, you think it's a mistake now. Yeah. We come across a lot of married couples who think, I married the wrong guy. Or I married the wrong woman, man. It's just, she just doesn't listen to me. You know, there's all these different things that go on. And you think it's a mistake. But I'm here to tell you that everything was on purpose. Everything was God designed. Even in the midst of you thinking that you made a mistake. But God foresaw what you were going to do way before you did it. So he had your life orchestrated way before you was even thought of by your parents, before you were even conceived. God had a purpose and a plan for you. So once again, Satan is very strategic. Satan hates the fact that you're married. He hates it. He can't stand it. And his whole goal is to break and divide you guys up. To separate, to divide and conquer. That's his whole agenda. That's his whole goal. You are on Satan's most wanted hit list. And he will not cease and he will not stop until he tries to divide. Now, take note of this. Every time you choose, I'm going to say it again because we said it in the previous segment. Choice is the greatest thing that we possess. So every time you choose to do the right thing, every time you choose to be obedient to the voice of God, every time you choose to love your spouse, every time you choose to pray to God, every time you choose to have that relationship with God, Satan cannot do anything. You shut the door on Satan's strategies. You block Satan's strategies. Satan can't do anything. Take that in mind. Take that in mind, guys. All right? So, Satan is very strategic, so he causes. Now let's take it to modern day. Modern day for us and within our marriages. Same principle. Satan causes us to take a look on the other side of the fence. Satan, he persuades us that what we possess, what God gave us now and at this moment and at this time, it's not enough. That your spouse is not enough. As a matter of fact, he causes you to look at the flaws of your spouse more than the big things of your spouse, more than what your spouse can become. He causes you to look at the negative things of your marriage instead of the positive things or what your marriage can become. So now Satan he persuades you to chase after things that are temporal, that are ungodly, that are not of God's will. He causes you and he persuades you to chase after possessions, to accolades, the approval of people. You don't need the approval of people. All you need is the favor of God. That's it. When you have the favor of God upon your life, it satisfies and it gratifies everything. But you chase after these temporal things, and these temporal things, they will never fulfill. You'll never fulfill anything. It'll never gratify. So now you find yourself bitter, hateful, don't like your spouse, don't like your situation. God bless you, Auntie. God bless you, Auntie. Love you. You're never satisfied. And you're chasing after things that will never fulfill what God wants to fulfill in your marriage and individually. All right, let's keep it rocking. Let's keep it moving. This is getting good, guys. This is getting good. All right. So now Satan makes you feel and persuades you and makes you think that you serve no purpose within your marriage. That your marriage serves no purpose within life. He makes you feel like unfulfilled. And so now you're chasing after things, trying to fulfill only what God can fulfill. You're never happy. You're never satisfied. You're looking at all the flaws in your life. You're never seeing it from God's eyesight. You're never seeing it from a spiritual perspective. You're only seeing it from a carnal perspective. These are strategic tricks of the enemy that we accept and we apply in our lives and in our marriages. I'm going to keep it rocking, guys. But the wonderful thing about Satan's strategies is they never trump God's strategies. Because God has a strategy as well. And his strategies are perfect. And if we apply them, they can't be passive. We have to apply them. The word is living. So when we apply them, we see them come into fruition. God has a purpose. His desire for us is to fulfill our purpose, which is to have relationship with him. I said it earlier. It's to have relationship with him and relationship with each other. That's our purpose in life. I don't know my purpose. I don't know what I'm called to do. I don't know. Let me tell you what your purpose is. Your purpose is to have a relationship with God and then to have a relationship with each other. I want to paraphrase this. I got to paraphrase it so that way we can really grasp the understanding and the setting of this. The Bible sets a setting and it sets a tone where it says there are some strategic people who sit up there and they're trying to trap Jesus. And they're like, hey, Jesus, hey, what's the greatest commandment? Since you big, bad, and bold and you know what you're talking about, what's the greatest commandment? Jesus, knowing their hearts and knowing their motives, he responds and he says, love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, soul, mind, strength. And he said, then, following, secondary, he said, love one another. Those are the two main things that he quoted. He didn't quote anything else. That's our purpose. And I know you're within your marriage and you're feeling like you serve no purpose. You feel like there's no hope. You feel like my marriage is going down. I don't even care. Because I know that there's a God who chose you for that marriage. You were handpicked for that marriage. And you don't even know it. Your ultimate purpose in life, I said it before and I'll say it again, is to have a relationship with God. That's our ultimate purpose in life. Our ultimate purpose is to seek him, to talk to him through prayer. But many of y'all, you can sit there and you can talk to him like you're talking to me, like you talk to your family members, to your friends. You can talk to God. He's that good. He's that present. You can talk to him, to acknowledge him, to learn from him, to hear him, to hear from him, to listen to him and allow the Holy Spirit to lead you and to guide you. So how do we give back what God has given us? By living our lives accordingly. That's how we give back to God, purposefully. So that sets the tone for us now to have a relationship with each other. Your purpose within that marriage is to change the very environment of your marriage. Sometimes you ain't got to say anything. You can change the very environment of your marriage just by the way you live. Simply by the way you live. Mm-hmm. So, us developing that relationship with each other, we are to speak life to one another. We are to encourage one another. We are to love on one another in spite of, the Bible says. In spite of. That means the flaws they do exist. But God is calling us to become something greater. If we are his children and he dwells on the inside of us, God is going to allow us to supersede and look past what we see in front of us. So I understand that he has a flaw. I understand that she has a flaw. But because God dwells in you, you don't see the flaw. You only see greatness. You only see purpose. You only see healing. You only see joy. That's what we have. That's our purpose in our marriage. Our purpose in our marriage is to set the tone within our marriage. Now, you might have started off chaotic, frustrated, bitter, angry, or whatever the case may have you. But you have something that in your possession, and that something is called choice. You can choose to become better. You can choose to become loving. You can choose to change and saturate the walls of your very home with love and compassion. Can I please encourage you? Marriages, can I please encourage you? Husbands, wives, can I please encourage you? Can't nobody do what you do in your marriage. Can't nobody fill that place and fill that slot but you. You were chosen on purpose. For wives, can't nobody do what you do in that marriage. Can't nobody rock the way you rock in your marriage. Can't nobody raise and love on you and uplift your children like you can. Can't nobody walk your walk and talk your talk. Can't nobody love your husband like you can. Now, sexually, it's only temporal. But I'm talking about, this supersedes sex. I'm talking about physically, mentally, emotionally, and everything else in between. Can't nobody do what you do. Have you ever sat back and took a look at somebody trying to do somebody else's job? Have you ever saw that? Have you ever saw somebody who attempted to sing a song that somebody else sung the same exact way? They can't duplicate it. Because God designed that person for that specific purpose, for that job, for that assignment. You have a purpose within that marriage. And can't nobody else do what you can do. Can't nobody else rock like you can rock in your marriage. That's why God chose you. Mm-hmm. God could have chose anybody else, but he chose you. Because you are more than able to do exceeding and abundantly anything that God can ever ask or think within your marriage. You can endure within your marriage. You have the tolerance within your marriage. You ever notice that when you be with family and friends and they be like, oh, girl, I wouldn't have dealt with that. Of course you wouldn't. That's why you're not chosen for this. You're not chosen for this. This woman right here, she was chosen for this. Lord. And it's an honor and it's a privilege to know that. She has the endurance like none other. Her love supersedes like none other. You know how many times she's looked past my flaws and loved on me and fixed plates? And I'm like, yo, she fixed me a plate?
I wasn't trying to kill you.
I thought you was. But can't nobody do what you do in your marriage. You have a purpose. And your purpose is to change your marriage by the way you live. Saturate your home with love and compassion, with peace. Allow God to flow through your home, to penetrate the walls and the holes and the cracks of your home. Let your spouse see God in you. You serve a purpose within that marriage. And that purpose and that marriage is designed by God. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a mishap. It wasn't a misnomer. Everything is orchestrated by God. And like I said, there is no mistakes in God. God doesn't sit on his throne and say, oops, well, such and such made a mistake again. How are we going to handle this? No. before you was even thought of. God had everything already set in stone. It was already set in line. Know your purpose within your marriage. Know what God called you to do. Babe, you want to say something?
Well, you were doing good.
I gotta have you dive in.
I'm just saying, you know me, I'm a follow the steps girl. I like following steps. You can tell a man do something because y'all don't like reading instructions. There's instructions. There is a step, and it's very easy. As you were saying that when he said it today about having a purpose-driven marriage, my first thing was to examine our marriage and to further examine our process of what we've had to do so far. And like he said in the very beginning of how the mundane things of life starts to affect your marriage in a negative way. You get bored. Mm-hmm. You get bored doing laundry. You get bored washing the dishes. You get bored going to work every day. You get bored just paying bills. You get bored of being in the same house sometimes. Sometimes you just get bored with the mundane and you ask God, I want to do more because you see everybody else or you feel like everybody else is doing more. I don't know what that more is for a lot of people, but for me it was like, oh, well, this person is going to this conference and this person is speaking over here and this person is going on this vacation and all this other stuff. You see these different things and you want more and you feel like my like you said, my marriage has no purpose. Yeah. It has no plan. And that affected our marriage very negatively because we didn't have any outlets. We didn't know what else to do until our marriage fell apart. Then we had to ask ourselves some questions that we, to put everything back together and to get to this purpose of actually having a marriage ministry per se. And it was, the first thing is decide that we even wanted to know. A lot of people don't want to know if their marriage has purpose because they've already given up on it.
Right.
Do you actually want to know that your marriage has purpose? And if you want to know, then together and separately decide, hey, I want to know why we're together. What was the purpose of God giving us together other than making these big head babies for all of us who got big head babies? All of us probably got big head babies or about to get some. What's our purpose other than these kids or paying these bills or buying this house or, getting these cars or whatever? No, what else is our purpose? The second part is choose your standard. After you decide that you want to know, what standard are you going to live your life on? And yes, we still have to ask the saints, even the saints, what standard are you living by? Are you living by God's standard or are you living by the world's standard? Those are two different standards and one of them will drive you crazy. And that's why most of us are so displeased with our marriages. We were living by the world's standard of what a marriage should be, what we should have, at what age and what stage we should be at. And it was driving us crazy because it wasn't happening for us the way everyone said that it should or when it should happen for us. Mm-hmm. So that's the first thing. Decide if you want to know and then choose what standard you're going to live by. For the saints, if you decide that you want to live by the standard of God, Vanessa, hey, then here's the hardest part. The hardest part you have to do now is silence all the noise around you. OMG, there is so much noise around us, and it's not even uninvited. It's all invited noise. We invite this noise into our minds every day, into our homes, into our marriages, and it's our phones, it's our laptops, it's our computers, it's our sometimes family members, friends. Through the phone, we invite all this chaos into our home. We invite all this noise, and that noise is constantly showing us their highlight reels. I mean, people may say some funny stuff on Facebook every now and then to make themselves sound sad or whatever. But for the most part, everybody's saying good stuff. Yeah. Everybody's showing their best meal. The best meal that came out, everybody's showing their best meal. Yeah. Every woman is showing their best outfit with their waist snatched and their hair and their face beat. Like they're showing their best on Facebook, on Instagram, on Snapchat or whatever. They're showing their best. No one shows when laundry is piled up to here and all the kids is sick, so there's crap all over the floor, and you don't want to wash the dishes, and your husband is tired and he don't want to be bothered, so he's sitting in the car in the driveway. Nobody wants to talk about that stuff.
Yeah.
So we don't see that part. So all we see is everyone's highlight reel. Then, like me, you gotta push some family and friends away, because one thing I know y'all know, that all of our family and friends have so many opinions.
Yeah.
Oh, they have advice
Sure.
like you would not believe. Your bitter auntie got advice. Your bitter mama got advice. Your mean, nasty daddy got advice. Or even your well-meaning relatives have advice that worked for their marriage in their time, but it's not working for yours. It's not going to work for yours because you didn't marry that kind of man, and he didn't marry that kind of woman. So now you're trying to do something that doesn't fit your personalities, because truth be told, do you even know this person?
Right.
So now you got that noise.
Right.
And then you have to push your plate away. We don't fast and pray like we do anymore. Now, if we get sick, then everybody want to fast and pray.
That's right.
Your baby go to jail, everybody want to fast and pray.
Yeah.
Or if the pastor calls for a fast, then you want to fast and pray. But nobody fasts and prays about the purpose for their marriage. They just felt like, oh, I got married to keep from going to hell because I wanted to have sex. Or, like I said, you wanted to have big-headed babies. I'm just saying. Or you marry into church power. Like you wanted to marry a minister. Or you wanted to marry, a musician. So you marry into church power.
Yeah.
Not knowing that that marriage should have a purpose, that you should want a marriage with a purpose. So push your plate back. Fast and pray. Talk to God about this thing. Because if marriage is his idea, marriage is a God idea.
That's right.
So if it's God's idea, then push your plate back and go talk to the creator. When something is broken, when this laptop is broken, there's no point of me going to ask my mom and my brothers, hey, how do I fix this laptop? No, I'm going to take it back to the manufacturer. Hey, how do I fix this?
It's really good.
What this it's not forming its purpose.
Yeah.
It's not working. I can't type on it. I can't search the internet on it. It's not fulfilling its purpose. So I take it back to the manufacturer. Hey, how do I get this thing to perform its purpose again? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How do I get it back?
That's good.
So you go back to the manufacturer and say, hey, how do I fix this marriage? What do we got to do to have, to get things back on the path that you put us on? Then the second step is talk to each other. Yes, this calls for fasting separately and fasting together. Okay, back to the fasting separately. If you're going to fast separately, talk to your spouse still, because y'all know that we're supposed to talk to our spouses before we just decide to go on a fast, because there are things that do and don't happen inside of a fast, and you need to talk to your spouse about that. But
one accord, yeah.
You got to be on one accord on all things, one accord on all things. So, back to now. Of fasting together. Pick days that we're going to fast. We're going to seek God. We're not going to be on our phones. I hate to say a Facebook or a social media fast, because that's I just don't like them. I don't. Just turn it off. Give yourself a brain break. Give yourself a brain break off of TV. Because can't nobody tell me that the Housewives of Hollywood and Atlanta and Love and Hip Hop and Black Ink is not affecting how our young men and young women, even some of our old men and old women, are acting these days when it comes to being in relationships. They think that all this arguing and throwing drinks on each other and hopping from dude to dude or chick to chick is what they're supposed. This is what life is. This is what fun is. This is what purpose is. No, that's not. That's going back all the way to step 2 of choosing what standard that you want to live by. Choose the standard. I'm telling y'all right now, if you choose God's standard, it is so much easier. It makes everything so much light work instead of all this complicated stuff.
Amen.
Me and my husband was talking one night, and we don't own a home yet. If you let the world tell you, oh, by the age of 25, you should have your own home, or by the age of 30, well, we don't have one yet. Okay, so what we're going to do, feel bad about it? No. We're going to trust God's process. We're going to do what we have to do. And then we'll get that when it's time.
Amen.
You don't want to rush to buy no home just to please nobody anyway.
Amen.
You do everything in God's time. You trust his process. And you know his truth. That's the standard you live by. So after you fasted and you're praying, get into God's word. Take time to worship. Have an hour of worship at least a week, at least. And that's the bare minimum. And I really do mean bare. Like you should do it way more. But bare minimum. So you can know, so you can be able to block out all the noise. Because you're not going to be able to do it off the muscle in the very beginning. It's going to be very hard for you not to look at your phone. It's going to be very hard for you to not watch certain TV shows. It's going to be very hard. And you're not going to appreciate what you have. Like he said, the enemy told Eve that she didn't have everything. Even though she had everything. The enemy told her that she didn't have it. So now she didn't know. So then she gave up what she had for what? For destruction and chaos. For mothers. I know being a mom, sometimes raising children is very, very hard because you get bored. You feel like, is this all I'm called to do? Is to take care of these babies? But when we looked at, I read my Bible and I looked at all these biblical mothers, Hannah, Sarah, David's mother, all these women, we don't hear much about them, but they raised giant slayers. Like they raised mighty men of God. Whoever Deborah's mother was, and like she raised a woman that's a judge in Israel. Like, come on, you don't know that the child that you're raising, what they're going to do. So don't take being a mother as being light work. That's right. Don't take that as not being Amen. A calling. Amen. Being a mother is a calling. Being a father is a calling. That's Everybody right. wants to call in the pulpit. No. Get your calling. Your calling is in your family. Being a wife is a calling. Right. Being a husband is a calling. Accept that calling. Accept that purpose and flow in that gift of the Spirit. But people don't look at your family and your marriage as being a gift. And it is. Because even if you are married and you don't have children, you still have people watching you. As the Bible says, we're open books read by all men. So your marriage is still an open book. People are watching how you treat your spouse. Amen. People are watching if you're nice to your wife or not. Even after church, they watch you to see, does he help his wife put on her coat? Amen. Like people notice that. Or does she pick his Bible up and put it in her hand when she walks? Like people watch those things. And that's your purpose. You're not just here. You're not on this planet to do what you do for yourself. You're here to be an example of God's love in the beginning, as you said, of God's love, his mercy and his grace to everyone in every aspect of your life, especially in your marriage. That's good, man. You said relationship. What strong relationship is there than a husband and a wife other than the father to us? Yeah. There isn't one. That's right. So don't think that you don't have purpose. Your marriage doesn't have purpose. Go back and look for it. Go back and seek it. Because somewhere you stop looking. Somewhere you stop wanting to function in that purpose. You let other people from the outside tell you right. what you should be doing in your marriage. That's right. What you should be saying. How you should be living. Mm-hmm. You let noise. That's why I call it all the time. You let all the noise tell you what you should and shouldn't do. So now it's time to block out that noise and to do better. And that was what I had to say.
That was real good, babe. Two key things, and then we're going to let you guys go. Yeah. Two key things. One, the first institution that was ever established when it first started was marriage. The first institution that was ever started before any other institution was established, was marriage. Every other institution was established off the foundation of marriage. If the enemy can destroy the foundation, he can destroy everything else that's been established on that foundation. That's why he's so strategic on breaking and dividing up marriages. The Bible says, can two people walk together except they agree? The answer is no. They can't. And for many of you that are dwelling, that are in your marriages, and you're trying to figure things out, and you're not walking together in agreement, only one or two things are happening. Either you're walking together in agreement, and you guys are on the same page, you're walking down the same road, or better yet, your hands are no longer intertwined, but you're walking separately down two separate paths.
Amen.
You can't. And most of all, what God showed me, even on this perspective, you're begging and you're asking God for more of what you can't already handle.
Ooh.
God was showing, he was dealing with me about that. You ask God for more, but you can't even handle what's already in front of you. And if God gave you more, it would separate you faster. You guys would separate faster. You would divorce sooner because you can't handle more. Understand your purpose. Understand why God put you here. And if you don't know your purpose in life, we just covered that tonight in this segment. To love and relationship. To love and relationship. Our relationship with God first, then our relationship to one another. Your whole purpose is to rest in the presence of God so God can teach you, so God can build you up, so God can inform you, so God can shape and mold you. And then that leads the way to now be able to intertwine with one another. So we can influence one another. We can chisel one another. We can encourage one another. We can uplift one another. And that brings edification and glorification to God because we fulfilled what he instructed us to do. You serve a purpose in your marriage. It's time to live that purpose. It's time to walk out that purpose. That's all I got.
That's all you got?
Sorry.
Nothing else?
Any questions, guys? Any thoughts? Any concerns before we leave?
All right.
Told y'all we was going to be strategic from now on.
Gonna be quick.
Any questions anybody may have?
Oh, no.
No questions?
Oh, that works too.
For those of you who are going to be watching this for the replay, we pray blessings over your lives. We pray that God would just continue to bless you, that you would get the nuggets out of this segment, that God's will be done in your marriage, that you would choose to change. You would choose to fulfill your purpose in your marriage, for you to know and have a full understanding that God chose you for this specific time to set the tone in the earth. But it starts with your marriage. It starts with you first, and it starts with your marriage. So thank you guys for watching. We love you guys, and we'll see you guys next Monday. Love y'all.